Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and this is Gazetta Dello Five. You got here Rio Ferdinand, Stephen Howson, Joel Beya, and of course, Mr. Fabrizio Romano. Loads of topics to get through. I think we should start with the most breaking news so far, which is that Steven Gerrard, who was just manager of Rangers, has been appointed as Aston Villa manager for 3 years. Now, for me, that came out left field a little bit, but did you see it coming, Fabrizio?
To be honest, yes, because immediately after they fired Jones, they wanted to change. They wanted to change and to have a new air, a fresh air around the team, a new atmosphere in the dressing room. I think they were needing something like this with Steve Gerrard that is bringing completely fresh air around the team and around the club in general. So yes, they immediately started the contacts. It was not easy also to find an agreement with Rangers for the compensation. Will be around £3 million. It's a 3-year deal for Steve Gerrard, so it's a long-term project. And I think he's the perfect appointment for Aston Villa. So they only wanted him. They also had other names in the list, but the first name was always Steve, and they've been able to do it. It was not so easy. So in my opinion, it's a very, very good one for Aston Villa. And yes, it's always been the favorite. So I was expecting this move. Not so fast, but they've been very good in this.
Rio, why are they so desperate, do you reckon? Well, I say desperate. Why are they so keen on Steven Gerrard? And second question, have you spoken to him since?
I've not spoken to him yet. I left him a message just a while ago when the news broke, but he'll be obviously very busy now, sorting out all of the details, the final details of getting in there and stuff. But firstly, Steven Gerrard is a worldwide name, huge figure in the game, commands huge respect immediately once he walks through the doors, anywhere he goes in the football world. So that has a factor. But he's actually gone somewhere and proved that he can actually manage a team. He's gone somewhere where Rangers needed new life. They needed a new direction. Celtic were absolutely dominating that league. And I've seen people say he's only won one league, etc. But he's actually turned it around from being a league that's been totally dominated by Celtic. I think it was 8-9 on a row or something like that. To stopping that new record and then getting them that league title after so many years. That's a huge effort. He knows what that is at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp knows what the pressure that is at Liverpool. Rafa Benitez knows that it's pressure to do that. People can say it wasn't a great Celtic team. The league's not great. It's still huge pressure. He's had to deal with that. He's navigated his way through that, and he's got a team playing very good football. Went the whole season unbeaten. All of these things, when you start adding them up, you can say he's not experienced. You can say that he's new in the job. He's only won one title since he's been at Rangers. When you stack those things up on that side, I think they far outweigh the negatives. And I think he's a really good person that they've got in charge now. But again, now his time is different. It's a different beast in the Premier League, and he's got something to prove again. And he'll know that. He's not stupid. He's not going in there thinking he's the finished article. He knows he's got stuff to do. You have stuff to improve on it. It's a new challenge. But listen, they've spent a huge amount of money in this summer. They've got good funds. They've got good resources there, great training ground. Some very talented players there who performed well last season, have the potential to perform. And I think you'll see this as a fantastic challenge for himself.
It's an interesting appointment. It's interesting that they were so keen on taking him. And I heard Tuesday there was a lot of talk that Gerrard was in for the Aston Villa job. And I thought, that's interesting. Because I think it's one where he could use that as a stepping stone to go into a European level club. A club that's competing at the top end of the league. And I'm sure every Liverpool fan is probably going, I wonder, does this mean there's a succession plan in place there for if he does well, how long's Jurgen going to be here? We don't know. That might be the next appointment that they can do. But I know a couple of lads that played for him when he was in Liverpool Academy as the manager there, and they only had really positive things to say about him, which surprised me because I've not really seen anything about what his style of play is, what his tactical philosophy is. It's been quite quiet on that sort of front of him. He doesn't look like he's necessarily coming out with any sort of mad innovation, but he is being successful. And I think the job he done at Rangers, it was a really good job. And like Rio said, you're winning the league. I'll never diminish anybody winning a league, especially when they've gone to a team that's had a complete rebuild. I mean, they were relegated. They had to basically start again, Rangers. And even though they might have more money than a lot of the other teams that are in the league, he still had to do it, and he did it. So I'll give him a lot of credit for doing that. But Villa's going to be a real tough ask. And even though a lot of people are pointing to them losing Grealish has been why they're poor this year. I thought Villa invested really well. So I think once those lads settle that they've got, they are going to be a decent force. Whether that would have been under Smith or under Gerrard, I think they are going to click, probably. Maybe Gerrard coming in helps that happen. But it'd be really
I'll tell you one thing he will do. Sorry to break you, Steve. One thing he will do, which I spoke to various people, and I went up to watch a game and went in the change room before a game and spoke to Stevie at Rangers. He will change things to suit him. He went into Rangers and he changed a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that he wanted in terms of like at the training ground, create the right atmosphere, the right environment for the players to achieve what they need to achieve. And he's not scared to do that. So there were some things that were there traditionally at Rangers that he said, no, this has got to change. This is how I want it now. And with that experience, I'm sure he'll do the same at Aston Villa.
I mean, do you think this is, I'll ask you, Fabrizio, do you think this job is the perfect job to lead him into the Liverpool job? Because let's be honest with you, that's the dream job.
Yes, I think yes. I 100% agree also with Steve, also because around Liverpool, the sentiment has always been, the feeling has always been with Steve Gerrard. Of course, he's more than a legend. So they've always been thinking on this. And the point on Jurgen Klopp, I think, is very good because now Jurgen is very happy with Liverpool. Last season was not so happy for him and not the best one also on a personal side. So they were respecting him for Liverpool. Now it's completely different. The feeling is completely different and positive. But long term, they still don't know how long it will be with Jurgen Klopp. They are not sure that it will be maybe 4 or 5 years. So if maybe it's going to take 2 or 3 years, then you will have Steve Gerrard after some years with Aston Villa, and it's the perfect way to prepare him for a potential Liverpool job. So my answer is yes, I see Steve Gerrard as a candidate for the future, but now let Aston Villa enjoy their manager, of course.
They play Liverpool on December the 11th, 3 p.m. kickoff. That's really going to be one to watch, man. I can't wait. That's going to make it juicy. Now,
amazing.
Yeah, but moving on.
A rough couple of games to kick off with, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
you've got Brighton, easy. Palace, City, Leicester.
Serious games, man.
He could not win one of those. I mean, they just lost. What is it? 4 on a bounce, 5 on a bounce.
No, I'm with Steve on this one. You know, it's not easy.
They could easily, on any given day, Brighton could beat one of those teams in the league. On any given day,
let a man get his slippers under the table, man, and let him enjoy the first week or so.
Vieira's flying. Palace could beat them, right? And then Manchester City and Leicester.
Nah,
I'm not being negative here. I'm being factual. He could lose all those games or draw all those games and win none of them.
Okay. There we go.
I expect he'll probably win at least one, though.
Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa. Steve with his comments. Riyad Mahrez. We're always talking about Sterling. This is a real quick one that I'm hearing that he's not very happy at the moment. His game time has been limited. And this is the thing when you're a City player. You could be, look what he was last year. You know, for me, him and Sterling were the best attacking outlets that they had, even better than Jesus. You saw what he did in the final, and in the league, etc. He could be on his way out in January.
From what I'm told, I also saw these rumors around. I was being asking yesterday, and I've been told that Mahrez is not leaving in January. So I'm 100% sure of this, that he's not planning to leave the club in January. He wants to fight for his place. And as you know, for Manchester City, everything can change for the starting place in 1 month, in 2 months. We know how Pep works, how it works with Pep. So it's always like this, and Mahrez wants to stay. Next summer, Manchester City need to make a decision: Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo, because these 3 players, month by month, we always see that they have some problems with this starting place. So Bernardo last summer wanted to leave Man City, but no one offered 60, 70 million as Man City wanted. Raheem Sterling wants to try maybe something new. His contract is going to expire in 2023. Barcelona want him, but they don't have the money to pay for Manchester City in this moment. Maybe next summer, but in this moment, no. But between Sterling, Mahrez, and Bernardo, they need to make a decision right now because they signed Jack Grealish, they have Ferran Torres, many quality players in this position. So they need to make a decision. And I think Mahrez, Sterling in this moment is the key decision to take. Also because Sterling, as I said, is out of contract in 2023 and they don't have an agreement to extend as of now. So they need to decide. They can't continue with Sterling with this contract. If they want to trust him, they need to extend the deal. If not, he's going to leave the club. I think if it's not January, it will be next summer.
I like Jack Grealish, but I don't see what he adds that those players can't add. You know, I think if you're going to spend 100 mil, I think he makes the squad better, you know, because you've got Grealish, Mahrez and Sterling. But I can't sit here and say, yeah, you know what, with Grealish coming in, he's giving more than what Sterling does when he's playing for City in the starting 11. I don't see it. When I see what Sterling has done in the last couple of years, I almost think it's a bit of a slap in the face, to be fair. But Rio?
I know what you mean, but I think it's just a difference. He's somebody different. I think Pep's always done that. He's always challenged these players. He's always brought players in where you think, oh, what's that? I don't see where he fits in, but he finds a way of getting players to play and bring something new to the team. Bernardo Silva, I think he came in mainly as a wide player, but he's playing now as a number 8, with De Bruyne being the attacking force centrally and the game running through him. So I don't see Jack just being someone who goes in there and just stays wide. He may do, but again, there's so many dynamics, moving pieces to this that Sterling could leave, and then you understand why Jack Grealish is signed. You don't know what Pep's got in the next, what he's forward thinking 12 months ahead. So it's going to be an interesting one, but I think this one will play out, and I think something will happen, and something will have to happen in the summer with one of those one of them 3 players will have to go, I think.
Yeah, we'll see.
What about Man United, my old team, man? What have you heard, Fabrizio? The management, etc. What's going on?
It's not an easy moment. You know better than me, but at the moment, with Ole, everything is still under control. I don't know how long it will take, to be honest, with this kind of situation, because it's crazy, to be honest. Also, I see from Italy and not from Manchester or from England, but it's really crazy what's going on. But from the board, they're still supporting the main part of the board, not the whole board, but the main part of the board are still supporting Ole. So at the moment, this is the situation. They like some managers, Brendan Rodgers, Erik ten Hag, Mauricio Pochettino, but they are all working with other clubs. So we know how complicated it is during the season to change the mind. For example, Erik ten Hag has always been super respectful with Ajax. Mark Overmars the same with him. So at the moment, he's not planning to leave the club during the season, and Ajax are doing great also in the Champions League. Mauricio Pochettino, at the moment, the situation with PSG is still relaxed and in control. Of course, it's not the easiest job in the world, but he is in it. So he's not leaving during the season as of now. And for Brendan Rodgers, I'm told that he's so appreciated by part of Manchester United board, but also when he received some approach from Newcastle, and I'm told that also Barcelona 2 months ago were thinking of him when they were planning to replace Koeman in September. He was always focused on Leicester job. He wanted to respect his contract with Leicester. So this is why at the moment they're still with Solskjaer, also because for the replacement it's not easy. Zinedine Zidane, from what I'm told, he's not desperate to be back at work as a manager. He wants to take his time. So maybe Man United will be able to change his mind. But as of now, they're not in this process. So this is why the situation is still quiet. And then Antonio Conte, we know, he decided to go to Tottenham because Manchester United were not calling him. He wanted the Manchester United job, but they were not calling him. So let's see now what the club will decide. But at the moment, it's still Ole, of course.
Fabrizio.
So we're not replacing because... So we're not, United apparently aren't moving because they can't identify a replacement, is what we're saying.
I think it's one of the points. Yes, it's one of the points. They can't be happy with what they see as of today for Manchester United.
We couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery, honestly.
I think the situation also with these managers, I mentioned Brendan Rodgers, but also Ten Hag, to break relationship with this kind of clubs. We're talking about Ajax of Paris Saint-Germain during the season is very complicated. Or something has happened with Tuchel last season, okay? But at the moment, it's still under control for Pochettino in Paris, and the same for the other managers. So,
is there any possibility, do you reckon, of someone like Laurent Blanc? I know he's not doing well in Qatar at the moment, but I thought he did a brilliant job with Bordeaux, and he did a decent job with Paris, I guess. Everyone does.
At the moment, it's not one of the names that I had mentioned in the list of Man United. And to be honest, as my personal opinion, I see something different from Man United. I respect Laurent Blanc.
Even in the short term, because I think that's what he means.
I think yes.
Okay. Rio, Erik ten Hag, yeah, everyone's spitting his name like, people acting like they watch Ajax play every week. My question is, when you've got a manager like that, yes, obviously he's doing very well. He's got a style of play there, very organized uniform. But you come to Man United, I keep talking about egos, man. We're not saying Ollie's gone. I know you've got a respect level here. You don't like to talk about other managers in the position, but let's just pretend he's there. Is he going to get the respect from those players in the changing room? Because that, for me, is a big thing at Manchester United that you don't get in a lot of other clubs.
I think any manager coming in, you have to. It's almost like you've got to show people why you're there. Immediately, I use Antonio Conte as a good reference point for that. Whenever he goes into a new club, there is no uncertain terms. There's no negotiables. this is what's going on. This is what I am. And if you're not with me, you can go. And I think that's the type of attitude and the type of mentality that separates the good managers from the top managers. You've got to be able to go in there and command a whole dressing room full of egos, full of big personalities, big characters. And that's the job of anybody coming in. Now, I don't know Ten Hag personally. I don't know, but he's doing a fantastic job at Ajax. And let's remember that Ajax isn't a small club in Holland. They're a massive club, the biggest club in Holland. Yes, it's different. The landscape's different, but it's still a huge club that he's got to work with. And the expectation levels there every day are to win. So that's something that will be there and very similar at Man United if he was to come to Man United. But anyone who comes in, listen, they've got to be able to deal with people. And that's very much the art of a fantastic manager. Tactically, you've got to get it right, etc. But dealing with people, motivating people on a daily basis to produce the goods is a huge part of it. And these managers we're talking about are doing it at their said clubs at the moment.
It's different at United, man. I just think it's different. And I think you get that that's why a lot of players, they come in, and even the players themselves, sometimes they struggle, because the expectations are just different. Look, Jadon Sancho is getting hammered and he's hardly playing minutes. I just think, as much as I banter the football club, I just think if you don't come in and you don't have those big boy trophies behind you, right, a little bit more than the Serie A, maybe a European trophy, it's going to be very hard for you. And you might be looking at a David Moyes situation or, even a Ryan Giggs situation, when he was interim.
But these are like all if, buts and maybes. You've got to have a go. If you're going to make the move to make someone else the manager, you've got to go with it and be confident backing who you're backing. So
you guys can't keep making these off the whim decisions, mate. You lot got to get it right. There's no
like Arsenal.
No, you've got to get it right.
Oh, like Arsenal have over the years, yeah?
Yeah, we 10 game unbeaten run, mate. We're on the way.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about a Pogba video. What was you saying before?
Guys, I have my personal opinion. I think Pogba is always good to make news around whatever he does. If it's injuries, if it's contract, if it's goals, if it's playing, not playing, bench, is always in the news. And it's so easy to get news with Paul Pogba. He's injured, so I think in this moment there is nothing else to say. We have to wait. Also, I see some reports around from France saying that he's prepared to sign a new deal as soon as possible with Manchester United. He's happy to sign a new deal. From what I'm told, also this kind of story is not correct yet. The point is, Pogba is. I know maybe it seems crazy right now because it's not the best moment for Man United, but since July, since August, he's very happy at Man United as a club. I'm talking about the club, the atmosphere. He was super happy during the summer when they signed Sancho, Varane, Cristiano. He's showing ambition. So Pogba loves Manchester life, loves the club, and this kind of feelings. Okay, but then on the pitch, in the key games, he was not playing, and because with Atalanta he was on the bench, with Liverpool he was on the bench, so he was not happy with the current situation. This is why he's gonna wait. I'm sure that Pogba is not gonna sign in a few days or he's not gonna decide. He's not gonna say yes or no to Man United in a few days or in a few weeks. He's gonna wait. This is the strategy. But I think it's always something that we can understand, to be honest, on some points. Because you say, let me see what's going on at this club for the future, and then I take my decision. So I know there are a lot of rumors. 1 week it seems in the rumors that it's over between Pogba and Man United, and the following week it seems, okay, he's gonna sign tomorrow. He's gonna wait. He has his ideas, but he wants to wait, and when will be the right moment to decide, he will communicate. But I think it's not going to be in the coming days or weeks. I think it's going to.
I totally agree with Fabrizio. Yeah, I think you have to put yourself in Paul Pogba's position. If you're in his position, you do exactly that. You wait, because up till now, there's been no level of consistency, or he hasn't played his complete best football for a consistent period. So why is he going to commit to somewhere where he's still thinking, am I going to get to the top here? He's not getting any younger. I'm not saying he's old or anything like that, but he's getting to the point now where it's either trophies or he's not going to win. So is that going to be with Man United or is that going to be elsewhere? And I make him right. Man United have allowed him to get to this position, and that's probably that's another conversation. But if you're him, you sit comfortable now and just wait, see how the management situation pans out, see what other players are saying at the time, and then make a decision.
I don't think he makes the situation any easier on himself or the club, though.
Why?
Because for 5.5 years, we've had this constant circus with him and his agent about will he stay, will he go, is he going Barcelona, is he going Real Madrid, is he going to sign his new contract? I'm absolutely Fredders with it. Just sign the contract and play the game.
Yeah, but it's
like the other week against Atalanta, he had his only game that he's going to play this month for the club, and he absolutely stunk the place out. After coming on and getting sent off in a matter of minutes against Liverpool, he owed the club and the fans a better performance than he put out on the pitch. And this is the problem with Paul Pogba. Nobody doubts the guy's ability. Everyone doubts the guy's consistency. And he would have a lot more patience with the fan base if he actually committed to the club. And I understand the reasons and I understand why you're saying what you're saying. But from a fan's perspective, getting pretty bored of Paul Pogba.
Yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, the stuff that's gone on with his agent and whatnot, and probably the Paul not speaking as much as fans would maybe want, I still think the buck stops with the club. That's the club's duty to deal with that. Trust me, if David Gill was there and Sir Alex Ferguson was at that club, these shenanigans wouldn't have gone on for so long. Raiola could speak, he could say something, but he wouldn't have been able to act or go on. Or any players' agents. I've seen multiple players' agents speak out and talk about certain situations. Would not have happened under the other era. And it doesn't happen at other clubs.
Yeah, piss up in a brewery, Rio. We run like an absolute shambles.
All right, guys.
All right.
Let's calm down.
Is that how we're going to finish?
Well, there's one more topic I want to look at. We've got to, well, actually two, real quickly. Eddie Howe signs for Newcastle. Is he the man that they need? Because I'm not convinced. He looks like a good guy, did a great job at Bournemouth, initially. I just don't think they could have got anyone else, really, and they've just ended up with him.
They were trying for others, many others, because the dream was Antonio Conte, but was impossible since they won. The other dream they had was Ten Hag together with Mark Overmars as director, but it was impossible too. They said no. Unai Emery, we know it was very close, but then at the end he decided to stay. Paulo Fonseca had a verbal agreement with Newcastle and it collapsed. So they were trying with many managers. They're now super happy with Eddie Howe, how he started this new chapter, also the feeling they have. But of course, now they need to play. It's not just about the relationship. They need to go on the pitch and show that they are good and they can save this team. But I can agree with you on long term. I don't know how will be the right fit for Newcastle. But as of now, into the club, they're super happy with Eddie. So let's give them some time. They were trying with other managers, but now it's time for him to show that he's the right man for this job. And I'm sure the January transfer window will maybe help him because they are already working to do something. They know that they need to do something important.
Finally, real quickly, Mo Salah, 29. Mane, 29. Firmino, 30. Their contracts are up in 2023. Obviously, you've got the age of Van Dijk, 30. Henderson, 31. Should Liverpool be panicking?
Yeah, funny.
I'm told that they are already working for next summer to look, as they always do, no panic buy, but strategy. So position by position, starting for next summer to have some player in this position, interesting players. I can take you an example. I was mentioning this boy, Danjuma from Villarreal. He's doing great, former Bangkok player. He's doing great. For January, I think it's impossible because Villarreal don't want to sell him. But he's one of the players to understand the kind of the player they want. Maybe it's not going to be easy next summer to sign him because many clubs are interested. But this kind of player Liverpool are following and watching for the future. So they know about this situation. But they still know that players like Mo Salah, Firmino, and the others you mentioned are still fantastic players. So it's gonna take some years before replacing them. And so the process is already started. Will take some time. They signed Ibra Konate as centre back. That is super interesting. So step by step, as always, they do.
Always lovely to speak to you, Fabrizio. Thank you very much for your time, man.
Thank you, guys. Super pleasure.
See you guys next week on Gazetta Dello 5. Peace.
Later.
Bye.